Good morning, everybody.
We are so glad to be here with you today. I think you'll notice that some things look a little different, a little behind us.
Empty chairs.
Empty chairs. Normally, we are come to you live on Sunday mornings. You know, right before the 9:30 service starts.
Yep.
We come on and we get to say hello to you. But this morning we're doing something a little bit different because today on Sunday we have some really cool things planned, and so we have a future church meeting planned, and we're doing it at both campuses and our online campus. And we wanted to make sure that we could come and check in with you guys and see how you guys were doing. And then we will actually be physically at the Liberty Hill campus first thing this morning.
Yeah, last time, we got questioned, right? Pastor Shane was asking us the questions, and this week we get to
week we get the questions. From the people.
That's right.
Yeah, I know. I'm really excited about that. I'm really excited about that. So you can join the future church meeting right here wherever you watch church today at 1 o'clock. And you can have a chance at that meeting to ask any kinds of questions about the virtual campus, community spaces, and we're going to give a little bit more just vision and, you know, kind of move you like in a good path towards it.
Yeah, I'm excited. I think it's, we're just hoping to get some great engagement. We're hoping to get some volunteers jumping in and being a part of this exciting new step we're taking as a church, and we're handing you the keys to do it. So
I know
great stuff.
A couple of months ago, Pastor Shane introduced the idea of like proximity and how we have to like love people where they are that are closest to us. And so both of these ideas kind of came out of that. So I'm really excited about it. And today, for our service, we're doing something a little bit different as well. We're doing what we are calling Defiantly Grateful.
Yes.
And that is just, it's just we're going to give you an opportunity to share like what God has been doing in your life. We know that God is moving all over RockPointe and everybody's lives. And today we're just going to celebrate that. And we're just going to say, you know, thanks to God.
Sure.
And just kind of hear what all he's doing. But I do want to let you know that we are going to ask you to share what God's doing in your life. And you can text that in to the text number on the screen, 512-710-2323, or you can put that in the comments.
That works perfectly. Yeah. We were just thinking in such a world where it's so easy to complain or so easy to look at all the negative that's happened around us. I mean, it's a great reminder for me as well to just be grateful about what God's doing in my life, my family, my church, my community, and focus on those great things for sure. And we'd love to hear about what God's doing in your life as well.
Absolutely. And if this is your first time joining us, you can also text that same number, 512-710-2323, and just say welcome. And let us know, how we can serve you.
Absolutely, and pray for you.
Yeah, I am super excited about today's message, and I know that you are going to get something out of it, and I can't wait to hear what God is doing in your life.
God bless.
See you later. Bye-bye.
Come on, if you're in the room, stand with us. If you're at home, get up and move your feet. All my life, all I know, God's been good to my soul. Mountain high, valley low, I'm gonna sing wherever I go. All my life, all I know, God's been good to my soul. Mountain high, valley low, I'm gonna sing wherever I go.
Do they say welcome online as well?
God is for me, He's not against me. I will hold to the plans He has for me. When I'm broken, He will fix me, 'cause I will call on the name of the Lord. Here we go. All my life, all I know, God's been good to my soul. Mountain high, valley low, I'm gonna sing wherever I go. He's my heart song in my sorrow. He's my hope and my strength for tomorrow. Oh, when the storms rise all around me, say, I will call on the name of the Lord. Here we go. life, all I know, God's been good, good to my soul. Mountain high, valley low, I'm gonna sing wherever I go. All my life, all I know, God's been good, good to my soul. Mountain high, valley low, I'm gonna sing wherever I go. Oh, I'm gonna sing. Y'all doing all right this morning? Yeah. I think it's time for a little bit of church. I'm gonna sing because all you've done for me. 'Cause I got joy, joy, joy deep in my soul. I'm gonna sing, we sing. I will sing, sing, sing wherever I go. I got joy, we sing. 'Cause I got joy, joy, joy. Play that guitar. All my life, all I know, God's been good, good to my soul. Mountain high, valley low. I said I'm gonna sing wherever I go.
Well, good morning, everyone. How are you? I am glad you're here. If you're in the room with me, have a seat for just a second. Those of you Liberty Hill out there, hey, so glad that you've joined us here. And online, hey, I'm glad you're there. I know you're there. I can kind of see you right through there. So I'm glad that you're with us. And we're all really glad to be together as a church family today. What a cool, cool thing. And so look, today's a little bit different. And here's the reason why. There's just some really good things going on, and we want to talk about that. So, look, just before we get to that, I want to tell you about it, but I'm excited about it, and so I'm like running on and doing some stuff that I got to do some business real quick, all right? So, look, if you're our guest here today, and you're watching for the first time online, or maybe you walked into Liberty Hill or right here in Leander, and you're for the first time, and you're going, okay, what is this? That was a cool song, but what is this? Let me just tell you, we're so glad that you're here. Thanks for being our guest today. You are our guest. We welcome you here and we welcome you back. So thanks for being here. And so look, if you're our guest today and today's either your first time, maybe it's your second time, maybe you've been hiding out and it's your third or fourth time, that's cool. We'd just love to get to know you a little bit. We'd like to know what's going on with you. And so look, we've got on your screen, you can see if you'll just text the word welcome to 512-710-2323. And that's true for you no matter where you're at. If you'll just let us know that you're there, we would love to get to know. We'll reach out. We'd love to get to know you and what's going on with you. And so we're just super excited that you would be with us today. God's got some good stuff for us today for sure. And then as we go along today, look, here's what we're going to be doing. We just think that if you don't stop and celebrate once in a while, you forget to celebrate. If you don't stop and look at the positive, all you see is the negative. And the truth is that there is positive stuff going on all the time around us, but sometimes we forget to look for that. In the middle of our finance trouble and our relationship trouble and our health problems and all of these things going on around us with our kids and our world, sometimes we just miss it because we're so focused on the negative, we forget to be grateful for all the positive going on. And so look, you got positive things going on in your life and we'd like to know about that. So look, as the service rolls along today, wherever you're joining us from, we would like for you to tell us, hey, here's what God's up to in my life. Right now in this service, like using your phone and text in your stories. On your screen, you're going to see that, right? Where you can text in your stories. It's like, here's how I've seen God at work in my life. Whether you're in a building or you're sitting at home, I'm telling you, God's up to something in your life. And we're super excited about that for you, but you got to look for it. What's God up to? So look, you can use that same that same number, and you can just text the story. Just tell us a story. We've got somebody who's watching that at all of our locations and places. So tell us what God's been up to. And as you go along today and you hear, oh yeah, God's doing that in my life too, tell us about that. We'd like to know, and we want to actually share some of those within our services today. So look, we have titled today, Defiantly Grateful. And here's the reason why we call it that. Is because if you don't stand up in the face of negativity and be grateful, all you'll see is the negative. And so today, what we've decided to do is to stand up in the face of negativity and say, you know, screw you, negativity, right? Screw you. That's my church way of saying that, all right? Because we're all good church people, that's the way we say that, right? And so that's what today is. So look, don't just sit there and consume this. Get on your phone and text and go, here's what God's up to in my life. Because it's happening. Don't miss it today. It's going to be an amazing day, and I'm so, so glad that you're a part of it. Now look, when we get grateful, something changes. You know what it is? Our singing. When I'm down, I don't want to sing. In fact, when I've been really down, trying to sing makes me cry. I can't really figure that out exactly, but something about just singing makes me cry, and I don't like that, but it's true. But you know what I needed to do when I was that low? I needed to sing. Singing is one of the ways that you can open your heart and begin to go, you know what, God really is good, and he hasn't forgotten me. Even through the sadness, even through the tears, even through the depression, even through my circumstance, today I'm going to defiantly be grateful for what God is doing. So would you do that? And do it with us. Wherever you're at, do it with us. So look, stand back up. You got another opportunity to sing. All right? So here we go.
I can count the times I called your name some broken night. You showed up and you patched me up like you do I get amnesia. I forget that you keep coming around. There ain't no way you'll ever let me down. You know what I'm saying? God Almighty, I hope you find me. Praising your name no matter what comes. 'Cause I know you to help me sing. Listen. Tell me, is he good? Tell me, is he God? Say he is. Hey. They say your love goes on forever, that your mercy never stops. Why would I assume you'll be somebody that you're like sun in the morning? I know you're gonna be there every day. What on earth could make me be all you got to say? Good God, oh yeah. Ain't no matter, 'cause I know where I'd be without your mercy. So I keep praising your name at the top of. Somebody tell me he's good. Tell me, is he good? Tell me, is he God? He is good, God Almighty. Praise. Love him in the morning, love him in the noon, love him when the sun goes down. Good God Almighty, I hope you pray to your name no matter what comes. Oh, I know where I'd the sun.
Right there. Yeah. Hey, we're grateful this morning. We're grateful for the band. Come on now. Let's go. Grateful to get to worship together on Sunday morning. It is awesome. I have the privilege of getting to be up here and highlighting things that God's doing in and through our church. And it's just a privilege to get to do that. It's awesome that God is alive and working through our lives and working through our church this morning. My name's John Evans, and man, I'm excited for this morning to highlight stories of where God's showing up, where God's at work, and hearing those from you guys and hearing from our church and those online and in Liberty Hill. Don't forget, like Shane challenged us to do, think of something you are grateful for and text that in. Our mission is to help people heal from life's hurts. And one of the most important things that we do as a church on Monday nights is our support groups, where we come together and we set up space for people to do just that. And so my wife and I and our kids, we came to RockPointe over 5 years ago, and there's been someone who's been a part of our support groups on Monday nights and our support group ministry. And we want to highlight her. We want to highlight what she has to share this morning about where she's seen God working in and through her life. Her name's Melanie Brown. Let's hear her story.
I started coming to RockPointe almost 7 years ago, just as my marriage of 28 years to my high school sweetheart was coming to an end. I did not want the divorce. I did everything I knew to save it, not just for myself or for him, but for the destruction I saw happening in our family. I made it through most of my days by pasting a smile on my face, which I'm pretty good at. But I would come home most every day and literally fall on the floor, crumbled in a heap, didn't know how I was going to survive. I couldn't comprehend how I could be that emotionally shattered and yet still be physically living. So one night I cried out, God, I need your help. I can't do this. I don't want to do this. But if I have to, I need you. And it was just a couple days later, I think, when my daughter mentioned that RockPointe was going to start offering a new group called Divorce Care. So I mustered all the strength I had and I showed up on that first night. I didn't know a soul. Scared to death, and I wanted to run. But I remember the first thing I felt was safe, that I was in a safe environment. We all were there hurting, and they understood me in a way my loved ones couldn't. We all were kind of speaking the same language. And I think as I focused on my healing each week, as we discussed a new topic or a new emotion, I was able to take my feelings and understand they were normal, and then intersect God's truth into those. And over time, I was able to see clearly that my life wasn't over. My life still has purpose. And I certainly forgot that along the way. I wanted so bad to save my family, but I'm able to demonstrate to them today what healing looks like. And that really drives me. I want my children and my grandchildren to understand how you get through when tragedy strikes. I've had an opportunity to be here on Monday nights, our support group night, and whether the people that come through are there as an attendee or whether they're helping lead or support, I think they're some of the most bravest people I've ever known. And I'm very thankful that our church has these ministries to really help people heal from life's hurts.
There's just something powerful about serving in the midst of your own storm, your own tragedy, and just knowing Melanie and just watching how she's just served throughout this has just been such an encouragement. On Monday nights, our support groups are open. It's not too late to jump in. Take a look on the website or on the mobile app, and maybe this is your time to just get going and find healing for yourself. But working on staff at a church, or even not, one of the most exciting things in my life is seeing people come to faith, seeing people find a relationship with Jesus and take that step forward and saying yes. And it's just such an exciting thing. And so we want to highlight somebody coming to faith in our church. And so we have another video. Let's hear from Christy.
I'm in recovery. I actually celebrated 3 years yesterday. 3 years, and through my recovery program, I was still feeling disconnected from God, right? Though it was, sober, I was still hurting, and I still didn't know really where to go with my faith. And so I started coming to RockPointe, and I kind of viewed online, right, first to kind of see, like, okay, what's this place about before I walked in the doors. So I walked in the doors, and I was instantly greeted, and I loved the vibe of the church. My husband came with me. He liked the vibe of the church. So we were like, let's try this out for a little bit. I was like, let me hang around here and surround myself by people who have more light than me, and people who have been through things, and other people who have healed through life's hurts. I guess I was afraid to follow Jesus, and I was afraid to connect with God and to believe in God. And I was honest with my group, right? My remedy group. And I told them where I was. And I was very open about how, like, I don't know if I believe, like, I just don't. I don't know if I believe. Here's what's going on with me. I want to believe, but the connection is not there. Like, I was really wanting to believe, and the connection was not there. And so through sharing and, to keep what others say kind of in that group, hearing some of what they were saying, I was sitting in remedy, and it kind of clicked for me. Someone said something in remedy, and at that moment, I was like, wow, that resonates with me so much. And in that moment was when I felt in my heart that I wanted to follow Jesus, and I accepted Jesus in my life. And so for me, remedy, in a combination of the church and small group, led me to Jesus. And I was baptized in November, after going through, it was right in the middle of remedy in the fall series of RockPointe. And so that's kind of my experience with remedy. It helped me to have an open, honest space, and help me to come to God.
That just was not good enough. Somebody just said yes to following Jesus. Their whole life is changing. So if you could just help me right now, stand to your feet and congratulate our friend Christy by the loudest noise you have. Come on. Y'all feel like singing some more? Come on, let's sing. I love you, Lord. Oh, your mercy never failed me. All my days I've been held in your hand. From the moment that I wake up until I lay my head, I will sing of the goodness of God. Come on, sing it out. 'Cause all my life you have been faithful. All my life you have been so. With every breath that I am able, I will sing of the goodness of God. Sing, I love your voice. You have led me through the fire in darkest night. You were close like no other. I've known you as a father. I've known you as a friend. I have lived in the goodness of God. Sing all my life, 'cause all my life you have been faithful. You're so good. 'Cause all my life you have been so, so good. With every breath that I am able, I will sing of the goodness of God. All right, now we sing. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. With my life laid down, I'm surrendered now. I give you everything. Your goodness is running after, it's running after. Sing it again, your goodness. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. Your goodness is running after, it keeps running after. With my life laid down, I'm surrendered now. I give you everything. Yeah. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. All my life. 'Cause all my life you have been faithful. I don't care if you think you know how to sing or not, sing it. 'Cause all my life you have been so. With every breath that I am able, I will sing of the goodness of God. All my life, sing. 'Cause all my life, so good. 'Cause all my life you have so good. With every breath that I am able, I will sing of the goodness of God. Oh, I will sing of the goodness of God. When I woke up this morning, you poured your mercy over me. Give me a second chance. I'm surrounded by your goodness. Lord, I want to sing, I want to say. We're going to sing You're Faithful. Let's sing this together. 'Cause you have been faithful. You have been faithful. See it. I said, oh, oh, hey, oh, It's running after me. With my life laid down, I'm surrendered now. Your goodness is running out. All right, one more time from your heart, we sing All My Life. 'Cause all my life you have been faithful. All my life you have been so. Every breath that I am able, I will sing of the goodness of God.
All right, y'all can go ahead and grab a seat. Well, one of the things as a staff that we've seen God doing through our church since last year of coming back in person is just engagement. We've seen people who have been sitting with us in person here in Leander, out in Liberty Hill, people engaging online. And so it's just been so cool to see how God is using this season to bring people into ministry to help us carry the ball forward with our mission. And so we've seen volunteer and leadership engagement over the past year go up close to 100. 100 people have jumped into saying yes to helping with babies and changing diapers and curriculums and preschoolers and hanging out and playing with toys, and then elementary kids over in our rock stars at both of our campuses, helping elementary kids learn about Jesus. Our garage on Sunday mornings with middle school, and then on Wednesday nights we have middle school and high school support groups, and with our production team over the past 2 years, it's been amazing just to see how that's grown to where we're streaming this online and people are engaging online. And so we wanted to highlight a couple of people who have jumped in and said yes. And so I just wanted to invite my friend Mike up here just to share a little bit about how God is using you in this season and in this time in your life and what he's doing in and through your life here at RockPointe. So Mike, can you quickly share with us a little bit about yourself and where you've jumped in and where you've seen God working through your life?
So yeah, my name is Mike. Last name is Parks. I'm a friend of Shane's. I've known him since college. And just this past summer, I hit him up on Facebook and said, hey, do you need help with your youth? And he said yes. So in October, I moved down here from Washington State on the east side, not the west side. And so yeah, I came down here in October and started working with the garage. It's 5th through 8th grade. I really enjoy it. The kids are a lot of fun. We do like a lesson, like a video lesson, and then I quiz them on it, and it really pays to pay attention because I give out Jolly Ranchers to the kids who can get the right answers. So, but yeah, I really like it. I really like to see the kids' enthusiasm and explaining salvation to them and discipling them and stuff. So I do it second hour, the 11 o'clock one. So any of you guys who put your kids in there, thank you.
Thanks, Mike. Now, another thing Mike has done that's just been so cool is he has helped our leaders and even himself get kids and students rides to church. And so, man, there's students on Wednesday nights because of Mike and his leadership where we've worked with parents and we've seen students get rides to church because that's something Mike has helped just lead. And that's been so cool because even some of those kids who have gotten those rides have grown in their faith, and it's been awesome to see. So Mike, man, it's awesome serving with you. We're excited to be a part of what God's doing in your life. Thank you so much. All right, well, we're going to invite Sarah to come on out. Thank you, Mike. So this is Sarah. We invited Sarah to come on up to share a little bit about two things. One is groups, and we'll share the next part in a second, but you recently jumped into groups here at RockPointe, and God's doing stuff in your life. Okay, awesome. So let's hear a little bit about what God's doing in Sarah's life.
All right. Hi, everyone. I think right now the biggest thing that God has been doing in my life through groups is just opening me up to the fellowship of others and being able to just really share with them what's going on in my life and being able to lean on them and kind of use them as support, because that's really what they are for. So, yeah.
Awesome. Now, the next part we wanted to share is that in our fall series, we did our Goodwill project. And that was so exciting to be a part of, collecting items. Or actually, it was What the World Needs Now. Yes, Adam, thank you. He's like, I don't know. What the world needs now. So we prayed about with our missions director and with Shane and with our staff about what we feel like God wants us to do through the fall, and through our fall series, we did What the World Needs Now, where we gathered up, I wrote this down so I could remember, 94,650 items were donated to the church through our church by you guys. Round of applause, that's something to be super grateful for. Where if you were here on a Saturday, we gathered up and we put all those items into boxes, and what we felt God telling us to do was to bring a box to every teacher in the city of Leander and the city of Liberty Hill. That was an encouragement. It was a thank you box, and it had some goodies in it, and it had some gift cards in it, it had a letter in it. And so you had a little inside scoop on this. Can you share a little bit about your part in it and what you saw from what God did through that?
So I did help with the packing, and then I also was on the receiving end. I'm a 4th grade teacher at Aiken Elementary, just right down the road. And it was just so amazing to see the volunteers come in and just giving us the boxes, and seeing my team members' just faces of like gratefulness and awe that they were being thought of, and it wasn't an expected thing. No one was anticipating this happening. Of course, I was in the corner like, haha, it's coming. But it was just such an amazing experience to see them just realize that people are thinking about them, and we're all supported by RockPointe.
So awesome. This was one of those things where it felt bigger than our ability to do. And so it stretched us, it stretched our faith, it stretched us as a church to do something just so big. And man, it was awesome to see how God used that. And so we brought in a few letters from some of the schools. And so I just was curious if you wouldn't mind reading a letter or two. So here you go. You can take that one and read it. Go ahead and read it.
All right. This one is from Stiles Middle School. You don't know how much I needed this box. Sometimes it feels like I'm sinking with everything going on around us. But kind acts like this make me full, like there is still good things going on in the world, and I'm not alone. It is a reminder, and a much needed one, of all the things I have to be grateful for. And among those many things is you. Thank you so much. Okay. All right. Dear RockPointe church members, I want you to know how wonderful your care boxes were for us teachers. What a way to flip negative experiences and news items into a positive outreach in your community. It truly brightened my week knowing that people are out there thinking of ways to make a positive difference. Thank you. Okay. Alrighty, this one's also from Stiles Middle School. RockPointe Church, thank you so much for the thoughtful treats. They are very much appreciated and spark joy in my day. Thank you for providing resources for teacher burnout. Your concern and compassion means so much. #thankful.
Thank you. Thanks, Sarah. Appreciate it. Y'all give Sarah a round of applause. Awesome. So one of the things at the heart of our church to be grateful for is generosity. We want to be known as a generous church. We want to challenge you and challenge ourselves to be generous. And so over Christmas Eve, we did something that we called the Goodwill Project. And with the Goodwill Project, instead of taking an offering, through the generosity of our church, we gave a reverse offering. That was something new, that was something different, where over $30,000 were put into envelopes that had just a miscellaneous amount of money in it. And we challenged you and challenged ourselves to go, and when the time was right, to give that to somebody who we felt like God was leading us to give that to. And so I got a letter here from the Tribiano family. They attended the Christmas Eve service. And that was awesome because while they were here, they brought that home, and with their family, they did that together as a family where they prayed over it. They said, okay, God, what do you want us to do with this? And they involved their children. And so they had a weekly routine where they had a pizza night. And they all kind of just felt like, hey, let's use this to just bless the delivery driver. So the delivery driver sent them this. Dear Casey and family, I was blessed to be the recipient of your Christmas envelope. God used your family to bless me. I started delivering pizza in December while I was looking for full-time work, and I am going through a painful divorce that I never saw coming. On December 27th, I had worked from 10:30 a.m. to 9 p.m. straight. I was exhausted and not feeling well. Right before going to your house, I had just said a prayer to God to give me strength and to bless my work financially. Tips is how I get paid. I did not have any money to purchase Christmas gifts for my kids or money for groceries, so rang your doorbell and left the pizza on your doorstep, and I still remember your kids handing me a brown envelope saying Merry Christmas. As I was driving away, I opened the envelope and I began to weep. God knew what I needed, and he used your family to answer my prayer. My faith in God is the thing that has gotten me through. I do not know what the future holds, but I know who holds me. Thank you again for your sweet family and for your generosity. Yeah. Well, Adam and the band are going to lead us in another song together, so let's go ahead and stand up and let's just thank God for what he's doing in our lives and through our church this morning as the band plays.
I've got a friend closer than a brother. There is no judgment, oh how he loves me. I've got a friend, he is my strength, he is my portion. With me in the valley, he's with me in the fire, he's with me in the storm. Let all my life testify, hallelujah, we are not alone. You sing. God really loves us. Oh, hallelujah. Oh, praise my soul. 'Cause God really loves us. God really loves us. His mercies enough. His grace is sufficient. So come if you're needing forgiveness and healing. His mercy's enough. Oh, this is our hope. The cross it is spoken. Death is no more. Christ is the Lord. Oh, this is our hope. We are not alone. God really loves us. God really loves us. Oh, hallelujah. Oh, praise my soul. God really loves us. God really loves us. And is this my favorite part? We sing this together. What a father, what a friend, what a savior he is. What a father, what a friend, what a savior. Sing it now. Oh, hallelujah. We are not alone. God really loves us. God really loves us. a father, what a friend, what a savior. Sing it again, what a father. Oh, yeah. What a father, what a friend, what a savior he is. What a father, what a friend, what a savior he is. Oh, hallelujah. We are not alone. God really loves us. God really loves us. Oh, hallelujah. Oh, praise my soul. God really loves us. God really loves us. Hey, I just want to encourage you, if you walked in halfway through the service and you haven't heard yet, today is all about gratitude and making sure that we make the choice to look at the good things in life instead of the negative. And so we want to celebrate at the end of the service today what God is up to in your life. And you may be scared to death to text this, but we're not going to put your name up there, we promise. We'll remove the gory details of the story. But we don't want to out you this morning. We just want to celebrate with you. At the end of the service, here's what we're going to do. We're going to sing a song that we love to sing around here, and we want to put some of these things on the screen just to move your heart. One of the things that I've had to learn in life is that, looking around, if God can help somebody else, surely he can help me. And so that's why we're doing that this morning, is just to show you you're not alone, that God is with you, that he's up to things in your life, even if you can't see him. So if you haven't done that yet, I just want to encourage you over this little bit of time that Pastor Shane's going to come and speak to us, get your phone out, make the decision. You'll leave church today happy that you shared where you see God working in your life. All right, you guys can have a seat and watch the screen.
So I want to tell you the story of a guy named Gideon. Gideon is from the Old Testament in the book of Judges. And he's a guy that God came to and he said, look, I know you don't have any stature. I know you don't have any position in your country or even in your city, but I'm going to use you. And isn't it true that God usually ends up using like the least of the people to do the most amazing things? And this is true of Gideon. So God called Gideon to protect and actually liberate the nation of Israel from all of these nations surrounding it. And so here's what happened. This is from Judges chapter 7. The Midianite army settled into the valley of Jezreel, just north of where Gideon and his army was. And there was going to be a war in the next few days. And the problem is Gideon wasn't just positive this was the time that he was supposed to go forward. And so he goes to God and he says, is it time? And God assures him it's time. But God says, you've got a problem, Gideon. You've got too many people in your army. Now, I know that sounds really weird. It sounds weird to me, too, that you're got to go fight this battle. You would think you would want to overwhelmingly win the battle, but God says, you've got too many people. Gideon had 32,000 soldiers in his army. But God said, you've got too many, and the reason I don't want you to have so many is because if you went out and won this war with your 32,000 soldiers, you would begin to think that you're strong and that this was you and that you did all this. And the truth is it's not. I want you to believe that it was me. You have too many people in your army. And so Gideon says, well, what do I do about that? And God says, all right, here's what I want you to do. I want you to gather your army around, and I want you to tell every one of your soldiers, if you're afraid to go into this battle against the Midianite army, you can go home. Think about that. What if we were to do that today? How crazy would that be? Is like if we're about to go into a war and we go to our army and our Marines and our Air Force and our Navy and we just say, look, if any of you are afraid, you don't have to go. You're dismissed. You can go home. That's exactly what happened. And get this. 22,000 soldiers went home. 2/3 of his army just left. Can you imagine what Gideon was feeling at that moment? That they're just gone. I now have 10,000 soldiers to go and win a war with. But they went home. So Gideon went back to God and said, I did what you told me to do, and now only have 10,000 people. And God said, Gideon, you still have too many people. I can't even imagine what Gideon was feeling in that moment of how I've already lost 2/3 and I've only got 10,000 left. How can we win this battle? But Gideon was committed to doing what God wanted him to do, and he said, okay, well, what do I do? And here's what God told him to do. He said, I want you to take your remaining soldiers down to the river. There was a spring close by. And I want you to take them down there for them all to get a drink. And I want you to watch. And the ones that get down on their hands and knees and lay down close to the water and kind of lap it up, I want you to send all of them home. The ones that go and they kneel down and they pick up a little bit of water and they watch what's going on as they drink water out of their hands, I want you to keep them. So Gideon does exactly what God says to do. They get down to the spring, and get this, 9,700 soldiers get on their hands and knees and lap up the water down close to the water. And Gideon sends them home. And all of a sudden, Gideon is faced with this war coming up with the Midianite army just north of where they are, and Gideon only has 300 people left. Now, there's a great story from Judges chapter 7 of how they won the war, and I would love to tell you that today, but I'm going to leave it with you to go actually read how they won the war. It is an amazing, amazing strategy, and it worked, and they won the war. But here's what I want you to know. God won the war in a new way. God pushed the mission forward, not the way they saw that it could happen, but in a brand new way. And to do that, he had to prune out of the army all that could leave and go away until only what was left were those who were fully engaged. Now, look, when I say pruned, you already know what I'm talking about, right? You've heard that word before. You maybe have done some of that. And look, there's different levels of pruning. Let's bring it into our real world day in what we know to prune. So first of all, pruning is, you maybe have used these before, right? And this is like your bonsai tree or little bitty branches around the edges, and you're just taking these little things out. And yeah, you could lose a digit with those, but the fact is it's just for little pieces and taking little edges off. And lots of people use these in their garden. This is one level of pruning for us. There's another level of pruning, and maybe you've done this as well, and it's just a little bigger than that, right? To where like we've got some branches, but they're small branches, and you just, you're trimming them. Maybe you're getting something straight, but what you're doing is you're pruning off the sides of these, maybe either in some sort of bush or some sort of branch in some plant that you have, but you need something a little more substantial to take a little more off. Or maybe you're like me, and you just absolutely love what I call the nuclear option, right? So the nuclear option. Right? I love the nuclear option. It's just a fun thing to get out there, and man, you can do some damage with this. But this is also pruning. See, there's all different types of pruning. And in Gideon's case, God actually used different types of pruning, from getting large amounts of people to go until down to this smallest little amount. There are levels of pruning. Here's what I believe. In the past 2 years, God has pruned his church. Churches were packed full of people, but they weren't packed full of soldiers fully engaged. They were packed full of people attending, consuming, and not fully engaged in the mission of making disciples and seeing people come to know and follow Jesus. And I believe that God didn't cause a crisis. I believe that God used the crisis, and I believe he has pruned his church for those now who are fully engaged. So let me just ask you the question. Why are you still here? Why do you still attend, and why are you still a part of RockPointe Church? See, I have this belief is that if you're coming into our buildings, if you're still joining us online, that you already have a level of engagement. You are already engaged. Now, you may not be fully engaged. You may be somewhat engaged, but you may just be here. You might just be watching. But the fact is, I believe the fact that you're still here 2 years later
says something about you. There is a level of engagement. So let me just tell you, as your pastor, I begin to go like, what is this army that we have now? Because the army looks different. How do we do the mission with the army that we have? And so I just want to ask you, the question, are you engaged? At what level are you engaged? So maybe I could ask it to you this way. Let me ask you, if I was to say, here's somebody who's around, I would say that's someone who's around, not necessarily engaged. Maybe you're attending, maybe you're watching online. But you never go beyond that. You're not in a group or you're not doing something. You never comment while you're online. You just take it all in. I would just say you're here, but I wouldn't call that engagement. Let me ask you this question. Maybe you are somewhat engaged, meaning that you are here, meaning you walk in or you watch, and you might take another step. Maybe there's a group for you. Maybe you help with something. Maybe you are a giver and you help the mission go forward, or maybe you comment or you're doing something and you're somewhat engaged. Here's the third thought I have for you is, are you fully engaged? And here's what I mean by fully engaged. Are you here? Are you attending? Are you watching? Are you commenting? Are you serving? Are you a giver? Are you helping? Are you in a group? Are you with other people? Are you fully engaged in the mission that God has given you as his follower, to go and make disciples of all people? See, he intended for that to be done as a church, for us together as a church, to be fully engaged together. So I need to ask you, what do you need to prune out of your life to move from not being engaged to fully engaged? Maybe for some of you, that's just a small something to take out. Maybe for others of you, you've got to really lay into that. And maybe for you, it's just this, there's a few places you got to kind of work off. Maybe for you, you got to take it to the next level. And there's like, I just got to take this out of my life because I need to be on mission for what God called me to do as his follower. Or maybe you're like me in some of the times in my life, and I've had to pull out the nuclear option, and I've just literally had to take a part of my life and remove it so that the rest of my life could flourish as God wanted it to flourish. So let me tell you, it's a new day. It's a new time. How do you plan to engage? We've been talking about gratitude, just ridiculous, incredible, defiant gratitude. You know what I find is when I'm engaged, I see those things. When I'm not engaged, I don't see those things. What do you need to prune to be fully engaged and on mission that Jesus called us to be on mission? I want to invite you to do that within the context of the rest of us, this community that is called a church. And I want to invite you to be fully engaged. And I want to ask you the question, what are you doing to be fully engaged this year? I know a little later today, we're going to have our future church meeting. And that's a great way for you to go, you know what, I think I'll hang out at that meeting. I think I'll do something and I'll show up, I'll watch, I'll be there to be a part of that, and I'll take a step forward. Maybe for you, that's being in a group. Maybe for you, that's serving. Maybe for you, this year, you're going to become a giver and financially push the message forward. What is it going to take for you to be fully engaged follower of Jesus? I want to challenge you. I want to challenge you to be one left in the 300. That, yeah, there's going to be times you're afraid, but you stick it out. There's going to be times when maybe you don't get it all right, but you stick it out. There's going to be times when maybe we don't get it all right. I don't get it all right as your pastor, but you're fully engaged because I'm not your mission. Following Jesus is your mission. So I want to challenge you to be fully engaged. Let me pray for you. Father, we ask that you would do something amazing inside of us. That God, that just like Gideon, the numbers seemed like it was going the wrong direction. It seemed like we needed more to do what you called us to do, but even in that case, we don't want to ever be in that place where we think it's us that's doing something. We want to know that it's you. So would you help us
to take steps forward at whatever level of pruning needs to happen in our life, and allow you to remove things, and God, for us to remove things out of our life that keep us from being fully engaged. Would you do that for us? And would you help us as your followers to live a life that's fully engaged? In Jesus' name, amen.
All right, just to close out today's service, I wanted to continue that prayer and challenge all of us watching online and in person just to begin to open your hearts and open your minds wherever you're sitting, wherever you're watching this morning. And just make some space and some time between you and God, however that looks. Make some space to begin to take things to Him out of gratitude in your heart for the things that He's doing in your life, in your jobs, in your families, and those around you. Just like Shane said, if we don't take a minute and recognize it, we can miss it. And we don't want to be cynical. We want to have hearts of gratitude. And so just wherever you're sitting, feel free to just close your eyes or just listen to the music. But begin to just take some things to God right now. Things of gratitude in your life, things that you've been blessed with, things that He's doing that you know that it's Him at work in your life, and just thank Him for that. Just begin to recognize that it's what you have in your life that He's given you. He's a great provider in your life, and just thank Him for that. And just begin to thank Him for taking you out of such a challenging season over the past 2 years to move through that. All the new things, all the things that have changed, that have created struggle, whether that's at home or at work or at the grocery store. And begin to ask Him to give you strength and courage to do His work, to be on mission, to help and to go, and to lead others to Him from what you've found. Just thank Him for the ministry of reconciliation and forgiveness, that He forgave us. He's not keeping track, He's not keeping score, and that He's faithful to take all the things that are broken, forgotten, discarded, your hurts, your habits, your hang-ups, and how He can begin to reclaim that and repurpose that for His good. And to take those things and to help you learn how to forgive or offer forgiveness or ask for forgiveness, and using our hurts in our lives as a platform for Him, and how He's strengthening you and how He's giving you hope. And we're just so thankful for the fruits of His Spirit in our lives. And where we lack, we're told to go and to ask for those things. So God, this morning we just need more love. Lord, to help us turn to You so we can turn and give of that to others, treating and loving others the way that we want to be treated. And joy. Maybe we haven't felt so much joy in a while, but maybe we haven't been going to the giver of the joy through His Spirit in our lives. So God, this morning we just recognize we have let our circumstances get the best of us, but that's not how You work, God. You're bigger, you're above that. So be our strength where we're weak. And Lord, for many of us, we need peace. Peace amongst our families, relationships, in the community, with schools and jobs, where we need peace. So help us fight for peace. Help us be bringers of peace. And for patience, sometimes we want what we want it now, but it's in the waiting where You do so much of the amazing things that You do in our lives. And kindness. God, don't let us be the ones to wait for others to be kind to us. Help us go and to be the kind ones. Give us strength and give us wisdom to recognize that, and give us courage to step into that and make that happen to others and our neighbors and to strangers. And goodness. God, maybe so long we've been looking at where You haven't been good, and we've been struggling and battling with You in that. God, just help us just take a deep breath and help us recognize that You are for us, You're not against us. Help us just receive that in our hearts and our minds and make a decision to keep moving forward. And so this morning, Lord, as we're sitting here, we have our hearts open to you. And over this next song, Lord, just continue to just speak to us what it is that you have for us this morning. Over this song, Lord, we open ourselves to what you want to speak to us. In Jesus' name, amen.
All throughout my history, your faithfulness has walked beside me. The winter storm. The winter storm made a way for spring. In every season, from where I'm standing, I've seen the evidence of your goodness all over my life, all over my life. I've seen your promises and fulfillment all over my life, all over my life. Help me remember when I'm weak, feel calm but feel weak. You lead my heart to victory. You are my strength, and you always will be. I've seen the evidence of your goodness all over my life, all over my life. I've seen your promises in fulfillment all over my life, all over my life. See the cross, the empty grave, evidence is endless. All my sin rolled away because of you, oh Jesus. See the cross, the empty grave, the evidence is endless. All my sin rolled away because of you, oh Jesus. I've seen the evidence of your good. Come on, sing it. All over my. I've seen your promises. I've seen your promises in fulfillment all over my life, all over my life. Say it again, I sing. I've seen the evidence of your goodness all over my life, all over my life. I've seen your promises in fulfillment all over my life, all over my life. So why should I fear? Oh, why should I fear? Because the end is. So why should I fear? Oh, why should I fear? Because the evidence is in. See the cross, the empty grave, the evidence is endless. All my sin rolled away because of you, oh Jesus. See the cross, the empty grave, the evidence is endless. All my sin was rolled away because of you, oh Jesus. And oh, I've seen the evidence all over my, all all over my life. I've seen your promises in fulfillment all over my life, all over my life. Well, I hope you enjoyed coming to church this morning. I saw something on the screen about somebody's birthday. Did anybody else see that? I saw it. Whoever that dude is that put that in there, you, sir, are brilliant. You also owe the church a thank you because we gave you a chance to get some brownie points. And you know what? Why can't we this morning? Why don't we sing happy birthday? What do y'all think about that? Y'all cool with that? Here we go. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to, yeah. Happy birthday, dear. Sure. Happy birthday to you. Well, hey, I hope you enjoyed coming to church this morning. Come back next week. We're starting a series called Sticks and Stones, and it's about the things that can actually hurt you. We'll see you guys next week.
Love like this comes once in a lifetime. For the first time, I believe it to be true. All of my friends say, when you know, every piece falls into place when I'm with you. In you I found a love that sets me free.